Hi everyone. Thank you for returning to my channel. I have a question for you. Have you ever had the impression that a woman's body language was completely different from what she was saying? Her eyes could have lingered a bit too long. Perhaps there was a pulse in her chuckle, or perhaps she didn't even realize she was leaning closer. Your heart briefly communicated with you in a way that your head was unable to comprehend. Here's the question though. Was it an illusion or a genuine attraction? As the majority of guys never acquire this language, they confuse eye contact for closeness, comfort for chemistry, and friendliness for interest. And that's when things start to go wrong. You see, body language is an unspoken dialogue that takes place long before words are exchanged. Additionally, it sends messages so subtle that most men miss them entirely when it changes from like to lust. However, I will remove that veil for you now because you won't ever have to wonder again after you realize what her body is actually saying. You'll be aware. Before we delve further, pause, click the subscribe button, and like this video. It makes this message more accessible to more men who are fed up with ambiguity, rejection, and conflicting cues. Let's be honest now. Attraction is not a one-time event. It changes. Safety and desire are balancing psychologically and physiologically. Her body literally opens up in the initial stage. She will not angle away from you. Instead, she will face you directly. She might loosen her arms. She may be pointing at you with her feet. Small indications that she is at ease with you. The basis of all appeal is comfort. Nothing can grow in its absence. The spark and the tiny movements follow. Her breath gradually deepens. Her pupils dilate. Her blink rate shifts. Dopamine is released by the brain, and all of a sudden, her body wants to go closer. Her hands may caress her neck or toy with jewelry, unintentionally highlighting her most vulnerable spots. Additionally, if she is mimicking your body language, tone, and gestures, it is her subconscious telling you, I'm syncing with you. It's not arbitrary, it's primordial. Because the limbic system deeply senses trust and attraction when two bodies mirror one another. In actuality, every motion she makes, every hair flick, every head tilt, is either a call for desire or a whisper of reassurance. All you have to do is learn how to listen. Things start to shift at this point. The point at when like subtly begins to evolve into something more complex and intense, not by what she says, but by what her body cannot conceal, you will be able to tell. A woman's instincts take over, and she begins to violate the invisible norms of personal space when she is truly attracted. She may unconsciously tilt her hips in your direction, sweep her hair to reveal her neck, or lean in as you speak. These are unintentional invitations, not coincidences. Her body is now beginning to communicate in a new vocabulary that is more about excitement, want, and curiosity than it is about safety. But keep in mind that this change is fragile. It's not about passion suddenly blowing up. There is a buildup. Before the intellect acknowledges it, the human body responds. Her breathing deepens but slows down. She might maintain eye contact for longer, enabling brief silences to grow more comfortable. Something significant occurs throughout such intervals. She is experiencing an emotion that she cannot yet identify. Magnetic tension starts at that point. Most men are unaware of how easily this stage might end if they interpret it incorrectly. If you push too hard, the chemistry will break down. If you go too slowly, friendship will develop. Patience and presence must be balanced. The greatest men don't go after these opportunities. They produce them by remaining centered, self-assured, and totally involved. This is a fact that many guys find surprising. A woman's body language changes when she feels attracted to you. One moment she will open up, and the next she will close off. After flirting, she will retreat. That isn't a rejection. Her body is not keeping up with her head. It's an emotional safety test and a protective instinct. Can I trust this feeling? She asks. Is he someone I can trust? At this point, your energy is more important than anything else. You may give her that sense of security once more if you maintain your composure, open posture, quiet voice, and relaxed eyes. Attraction turns into attachment at that point because she truly wants to know if you can manage her, not just if you desire her. Seduction has nothing to do with the transition from like to passion. It's about comfort and curiosity coming together, and when those two feelings come together, her entire body will communicate to you, without a single word, that she is more than just intrigued, she finds it fascinating. We are now in the stage that most men aspire to, but very few ever fully understand while it is occurring. Her allure becomes electric at this point. The body begins to express desire instead of suppressing it. It is evident in her close proximity. She begins looking for reasons to get closer. She might have been standing across the room, brushing against your arm when there was plenty of room, but instead she was standing next to you. Her laugh gets more intimate, gentler, and breathier. When you talk, her eyes begin to hover over your lips for a bit too long. These don't happen by accident, they're subtle but instinctive cues of developing passion. To be clear, though, this has nothing to do with controlling or reading women like a book. This has to do with consciousness. You develop respect when you are able to recognize these cues, because there is a sacred boundary between curiosity and consent. Trust is gained by a man who recognizes the distinction between emotional preparedness and fun chemistry, something much stronger than mere physical attraction. Her touch alters at this point. It is no longer a coincidence. It's an investigation. Her fingertips start to drag slowly after giving you a gentle tap on the shoulder. A lingering connection that makes her heart race. A woman's body speaks louder than words when she is attracted to you on this level. Her tone softens even though she may appear nonchalant. The pitch of her voice drops. When she hears you, her lips remain slightly open. These are instinctive indications that her body is starting to consider intimacy. Additionally, her subconscious begins to mark territory subtly while you're nearby. She may brush her lips before speaking, alter her clothing, or even steal looks when she believes you're not looking. Her passion is battling her self-control over it. She desires to be wanted but not despised, seen but not exposed. And you'll witness that yearning grow into something captivating if you approach her with composed assurance. This is where the majority of males ruin things, though. They are too eager and ruin the moment. They rush in too quickly after misinterpreting the indications. In actuality, attraction is not something that can be coerced. You have to feed the flame. Maintain eye contact while standing your ground without bending over. Allow silence to fill the room. She senses it. Her creativity begins to work for you. Because a man who can remain motionless when everything inside her wants to draw closer is the one who attracts women the most. The intensity between you two becomes nearly palpable as attraction reaches its fourth stage. Small gestures and glances are no longer enough. It's rhythm, a mental synchronization that makes it hard to ignore you. At this point, her body begins to mimic your tempo, reflecting your voice, your breathing, and even your silence. We refer to it as physiological entrainment, the body's method of lining up with a person it really wants. And when it does, you feel as though gravity is drawing you in. Her actions become contradictory at this point. One moment she might taunt you, and the next she might look away. She struggles with choosing between control and submission. Her instincts want for connection, but her subconscious is attempting to shield her feelings. She manages that tension with every little gesture, every pause and every faint smile. Her body speaks louder than her words ever could, if you're paying attention. Here's something strong, though. The entire trajectory of attraction is determined by how you respond at this particular instant. She will back off if you try to close the deal or act needy, since the mystery will be lost. She will, however, lean in closer if you remain stable, emotionally calm, confident, and erratic. Why? Because desire is heightened by restriction. It allows her imagination space, and lust originates in the imagination rather than in action. At this point, eye contact takes on a life of its own. Long, continuous looks in which neither of you says anything. Her pupils might enlarge once more. Unconsciously, you two would imitate one another's facial expressions as though you were enmeshed in an invisible current. It isn't magic. At the neural system level, it's chemistry. Pleasure is what the body interprets as emotional alignment. Additionally, if you've kept your genuineness without pretense or forced charm, she starts to feel secure enough to express her attraction, to stop controlling her body language, and to let her body communicate her feelings. Her shoulders loosen up. Her tone softens. Her tone changes as she laughs. It is no longer social, it's erotic. The secret is known by men who comprehend this level. Pursuit isn't the essence of true seduction. It has to do with silence. You give her the freedom to explore her own desires fearlessly when you transform into a place of quiet energy. She is not impressed by your appearance, your words, or even your self-assurance. She succumbs to the emotion she senses in your presence. By the sixth stage, a significant event takes place. Her attraction becomes a choice rather than just a reaction. Her desire changes from primal to deliberate at this point. She no longer merely finds you attractive. She's starting to pick you. Her body language conveys that change in ways that most men don't notice. Her movements abruptly become softer, yet more deliberate. She maintains eye contact out of connection rather than curiosity. She feels comfortable enough to share what's been simmering beneath the surface, which is why her smile lasts. She'll begin to reveal aspects of herself that most others don't see. When she talks about something she loves, her eyes light up. When she talks about past pain, her voice has a vulnerable tone. The way she actually listens to what you have to say. This is no longer small chat. It's physical chemistry encased in emotional intimacy. The secret is right here. More than anything else, physical attraction is heightened by emotional connection when a woman doesn't turn away while you're speaking and begins to stroke her collarbone, neck, or hair. She's more than just anxious. She is extending an invitation to enter her emotional realm. I feel seen and I'm okay with it, is what her body is telling her. The psychological source of lust that seems genuine, intimate, and not transactional or superficial is that comfort mixed with excitement. However, most men try to avoid the emotional side and never go this far. They mistake compliance for connection. They overlook the fact that a woman's desire increases when she feels understood rather than under duress. In actuality, she has no desire for perfection. She desires to be present. She wants to know that you're not merely waiting for her to say something. When she looks into your eyes, you're completely there. At this point, she may begin to mimic your tone, use your words, and even walk at the same speed as you. Her subconscious is telling her, I'm with you. She starts to laugh more spontaneously. Her stance was more relaxed. She starts to let her guard down entirely. She then begins to want your energy as a result, because of how you make her feel within her own body, not because of what you're doing. This serves as a link between desire and attraction, the point at which her emotions, thoughts, and body come together. It's no longer just chemistry once that alignment occurs. There is a relationship, and that's when a woman's liking turns into longing. We have now reached the last phase, the moment when all of those looks, delicate touches, and unsaid emotions come together to form an irrefutable chemistry. This is the surrender stage, emotional surrender, rather than physical submission. A woman's whole presence changes when she completely moves from liking to lust. Her tone softens, but her intensity sharpens. She looks for your eyes more frequently in an attempt to connect rather than to test. She instantly lowers her voice. Her speech slows slower, and your silence turns into a form of communication in and of itself. You two are no longer merely conversing. Your two neural systems work in unison, consuming the energy of one another. Psychologists refer to this as the consensual tension curve. It is the intersection of physical attraction and emotional safety. Her body starts to express comfort through open posture, long glances, easy breathing, and vulnerability. When you're close, you'll notice greater awareness, longer pauses before saying goodbye, and tiny smiles after making eye contact. Her method of saying, I feel something and I'm not fighting it anymore, is implicit. However, this is the reality that sets boys apart from men. Using such energy is not a sign of true masculine strength. It's in honoring it. You understand that chemistry isn't the only thing going on, it's faith. She is giving you access to an area that is rarely accessible to men, the point where her emotional safety and desire meet. Men that are aware of this never rush things. They are aware that anticipation has greater power than actual possession. You enhance her experience when you stay grounded, maintain a composed tone, and keep your attention in the here and now. You turn into the fulcrum of her feelings. And because it's no longer about the excitement of the pursuit, that's what keeps her attractive. It's about the calm that comes from being wanted and seen without feeling compelled. And you cease speculating, pursuing, or questioning yourself once you comprehend this complete journey from like to lust. Instead of reading words, you learn to read energy. You develop into the type of man that moves with awareness and doesn't require approval. You stop reacting. You know, keep in mind that attractiveness isn't about gimmicks or strategies. Emotional intelligence is the key. Women see the difference right away. She feels secure enough to have a strong desire for you when your confidence stems from comprehension rather than control. That's what real magnetism is all about. Chemistry comes second, connection first, and always show respect. If this helped you see things more clearly, please click the like button, subscribe, and tell a friend about it, because it takes more than just desire to read her body language. Deciphering the hidden reality of connection itself is the goal.